How's it going, everybody? So due to some technical issues, I'm the one that's starting off this episode. Welcome to Bayou City Soccer's Orange and Blueprints. I'm the one and only Diego Martinez Reyes, live from my New York small apartment. But I'm finally joined by the one, the only Manny Olivares. First off, to set the tone and to start things off right, Manny, how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. As always, trying to be here, be alive, and internet's always gonna mess you up, but we're good here.
Mhm. No, I'm glad
You,
to hear
Diego?
that. I'm all good. I'm good. I had a little bit of a hiccup there starting the podcast as I was a little distracted at the beginning, but that is on me. Happy to be here. Slower day in news when it comes to the Houston Dash, but nevertheless, always happy to do it. Always happy to talk about what is the best and the most amazing team in NWSL. We've got Coachella coming up. We've got some incoming and outcoming transfers, and we've got some more speculation of like how the first part of the season is coming up. And I'm happy to announce that I will actually be at the game for April 3rd against Racing Louisville. Couldn't make the Boston Legacy game, but I will be there for Racing Louisville. So anybody that is going to that game, I highly encourage you to say hi, to stop by, talk to Manny or me, and to see what we have cooking up for that special day.
Okay, okay, okay. We got Diego flying from New York, trying to
Flying from
warm, trying to warm
New
up,
York City to see
trying
the
to warm up.
mighty Racing Louisville.
I was at the Mighty Dash, but okay, the Mighty. Because Diego put his prediction that Blue was gonna win that game
No,
already.
I was being sarcastic, my friend.
Nah, but nah, it's good. It's good. I think it's pretty good. We see how the dash this preseason. I think like our
Hmm.
regular lives has been busy as crazy and hectic. The dash has been busy as well. I feel like every week there's been something up and a roster change as well. So it's been really great to see the Houston Dash been proactive on the roster. And one major, I think something if you were focusing on the loanees that we have, the Dash has been I think shipped out to for future development. Zoe Matthews. We don't know what the situation was with it. We know that she was loaned out mid summertime to Does Lograno in Spain. But as of now, if you've noticed, been tracking her, she hasn't been playing that much during that time. The Dash, we don't know if they recalled her or Lograno said that Zoe's now no longer in the service, and the action was pretty active on that. So she was came back, and then immediately loaned out to Benfica Lisboa over by Portugal for the rest of the season with a buy option on her clause. Really interesting. I think that was a really quick. I knew maybe a loan was in the cards, but with a
Hmm.
buy option, and it looked like, according to her agent did like a promotional video, and it looked like that the buy option was done and completed. What's your thoughts of the whole transaction, the whole loan move?
I think it's a tough one to say. I think really looking at kind of talking with Fabrice, especially last time that we were able to, sit there and ask him questions. From the looks of it, he was a little more optimistic about Rebecca, but also Zoe Matthews and how they were kind of progressing. And now I'm kind of seeing her getting shipped out again. Does that mean like she needs more time? Obviously, she is, if I remember correctly, only 19 years of age. Um, so there's like plenty of time for her to have a great career, whether with the Houston Dash or in NWSL in general. But I just struggle to see kind of that lineup with what Fabrice was talking about, how they're progressing well and stuff like that. Especially when you're considering that the team is getting younger, so it would be a great opportunity for to get minutes right at the get go, and especially now that preseason is incoming, Coachella Valley, a bunch of those things. So I don't know. I'm a little confused by it, but we're at a point right now where Fabrice has made enough good decisions when it comes to roster construction, lineups, tactical moves inside and outside of the game, where I can confidently say, hey, I can trust him on that one. I can trust him on the fact that maybe he knows, him and the coaching staff knows something that I don't about Zoe Matthews, which is, to be honest, very fair. But I would say my assessment of it is it's not necessarily the wisest to talk. Hey, yeah, we're still evaluating, but they're looking great, and then have a loan and an option to buy from Benfica. So I think those things don't necessarily line up to me. But I don't know. Maybe your perspective could be some clarification, because like genuinely it just seems like two completely different things.
I think he's not wrong on it. I think him, Fabrice and Angela, the president of women's soccer, they have been spot on where these players are going on loan. You know,
Hmm.
unlike Zoe, maybe she was out of favor, or maybe did not fit the system, or maybe just culturally did not sit well with the club she was at. But if you look at the other two players that were low now, JY, Harris, with at the USL Super League, one season she became from it looked almost like a dull of a draft pick for the Dash, became now the USL Defender of the Year in one season, and now she extended for another season over there to continue her development as a 3 year 3 year as a professional soccer player. And you got Rebecca, who is still young, same age as, no, I think a little bit older than Zoe. She's 19, 2020, but yet she has fallen in a great position. She has played week in and week out for a top level Spanish side, facing Real Madrid, facing Barcelona. Even though facing Barcelona is not easy, getting smacked. I think what they got smacked like 5-1 last time. So it's like, but still, she's getting that experience that she needs, and maybe I think also I just maybe they're willing to loan out Zoe and maybe take a hit on the sell, because if you look at her, that's why I had to look back on the preseason roster. That's why they had, of course, they got the rookie Leah Kanki, uh, who has been a great versatile defender, but they also brought two non invitees, non roster invitees. Natalie Bien and Kate Harden, defenders as well. So possibly thinking long term ahead, because the roster doesn't have to be defined until the uh
Hmm.
early in April. So seeing how the season goes with Zoe over there, maybe they're preparing. Okay, if Zoe has a okay and maybe it's sellable, we have people in place to replace her, or people in place for another transfer to get maybe another defender here. But I think they're trying to keep it open. I think the two loanees, Rebecca and JY, are a hit, and they're just gonna let their contracts go out and come have to join back the team when they have those minutes, their experience. And maybe sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you have to loan out a player, see if it hits, and it's like, okay, well, it's better to get what we get for that player, and see how it goes. Just sometimes it's like, sometimes you when you loan out a young player, you wish to grow and they come back for the team, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And maybe for this case, Angela and Fabrice are like, okay, we have options here. We're not too sad about maybe this might not go through, as in Zoe being here long term. But I think at the moment, what I'm seeing is that they're not afraid to go for younger players, and so is losing Zoe doesn't mean the team stop trusting in younger players, but it's just some young players don't plan out when you find out when that
Hmm.
loan came out. So that's what I think
Yeah,
on the subject of Zoe.
yeah. I don't know. I just having the option to buy is just a confusing thing for me, and I don't know. I don't think I'll ever really understand it, because I don't think they're gonna give us the insider trade. Um,
I think that's what you got. Also think about uh, Benfica. I think you're loaning out a player that maybe could work for you for 6 months, but maybe lose that. Maybe the how would you? I want to say the corporation, the investment they do in it. Instead of just for 6 months. So And so maybe try like, okay, if we like this player as well, what can we, you know, do more negotiation? Maybe that was the last piece they thought. That's why I thought like maybe they were risk taking, as in like, okay, it's maybe she's worth selling her out with a buyout clause. But the buyout clause, it didn't state, is it optional or is it uh a
It's not
must
it's not an obligation to buy.
obligation. So it's like, so we just have to see what happens and see where it goes. You know.
Hmm. Yeah.
But according to her agent, it looks like it does go through. It looks like the contract's up to 2029 to 2030. But that's what the post suggested. But we don't know. We don't know
Yeah.
until the end of the season, until they actually officially announce it. But
Hmm.
I think it's still good. It's a good, even I think one thing of note is that even though we might lose her, I think it's a one good positive, I think, positive direction the club is taking. I think we want to switch the conversation. Even though her initial loan move failed, they were quick
Hmm.
to change that and give her a better landing spot
Hmm.
uh, to another place. And I think that's a great attraction for the club. I think because before they were like, well, if you're not good on your loan, well, that's your fault. I think that was the old regimes. Like, yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah.
And now they're actually quick to, and that, in effect, I mean, attract more younger players to come to the club. You know,
Hmm.
I think that's a great play because I'm thinking about the other drafters that we had at Dash. We had a player named Jennings that was a left back. She only played like one game, and she ultimately retired after
Hmm.
after playing that one game. So it was like, it was
One and done, I
really,
guess.
yeah, one and done. And I was like, and then you had other rookies that came as well that I can't even remember, that not even touched the field. And it's like the they basically moved. You got Madeline Desayano, who played right back, as well. And then she played only like a few minutes and she's gone. Well, she's in Europe. And then you got, of course, that other midfielders that, but I think not now that the whole organization had to restructure and see how we can put these players in a better position, not only just for the club but for their careers. And
Yeah.
that's something that this organization has done a lot better and will attract more younger players by doing that.
100%.
So it's sad, but the risk of losing her. But at the end of the day, we're trying to grow the club and grow the image as well. So that's
Yeah.
something we have to talk about as we move forward. All right. So we actually have a better schedule on the Dashes preseason. So officially this week, the NWSL started their preseason training. So everyone's reported to camp. Everyone's getting ready for the NWSL season. For the
Hmm.
Dash, we have a little bit more clarity. Next week, the 13th, they leave off for Coachella Valley Invitational when they face other NWSL teams, as was stated earlier before the season ended. But now we have a full schedule. Now I have everything up in my face. So now the 15th, they will face Angel City FC. The
Hmm.
21st, they face Portland Thorns. And when they come back, they will train again and go up to Dallas for the 28th when they face Dallas Trinity.
The
And then they will
Cotton
have
Bowl Classic.
the Cotton Bowl Classic battle. I don't know what do we call it, because I'm trying to look for names for it. It's
Battle
like
for the Lone Star State.
Long Stars. I'm like, because like I'm trying to look at, like, what was it, the uh what was it, Dynamo and FC Dallas, what's it called,
Copa Texas.
Copa Texas. And also, but
Yeah.
that's also for what's it called, for Austin and Dynamo as well. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
all three of them. They all have the
I know, and
so.
even now for the Shield with the Dash and that's Trinity as well. That's
Mhm.
when everyone included. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I can I know they had a name for it, but I didn't like it. That's why it didn't resonate with me.
Copa
And then
Texas.
according to Diego, then the Dash will have a week off, and then the 14th will be the regular season game.
And
So
then
just going
Boston
through the
Legacy.
just
Is Boston the 14th or the 21st? The
nah,
14th,
bro.
right?
I was like when you first said it, I was like that ain't sound right. It's no, it's against San Diego.
Okay. Because
San
the
Diego
first
will.
home game is against Boston, and then it's racing.
Yeah, the
Boston
first home
and
game, the
oh, I
21st.
said that like a true Bostonian. I don't know if you
Boston.
caught that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Boston. Ugh.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah,
what do you think of the preseason schedule and who they face? Right now, it's undetermined if they face another match the week before their opening, but that's at the moment. But I think that should be
yeah.
announced a little bit later, maybe next week or once Coachella starts. But so far, you have Angel City, then you got 5 days rest to face Portland, and then you come back for a week rest to face
Ooh.
Dallas Trinity. What do you think of the opposition and what you kind of look into? I think the Coachella ones will might have a streaming service for that, like
Mhm.
last time they did it, but undetermined right now. But what do you think of those rivals just so far?
Yeah, I think it's really. I think it's a good mix of good competition, but also teams that we can realistically beat. I think I think looking at Angel City specifically, you can see a team that you really kind of struggled against over the past year and a little bit more historically. It's a team that plays quick, that plays on the counter, that plays a lot with speed and technicality. That's always a team that has been able to kind of like break down dash teams of last year and dash teams of even further in the past. So I think it's a great test, to test the young players, the rookies, to see where they're at when it comes to the speed of NWSL, because you are talking about what is one of the fastest teams in the league, and so if they're able to hold their own against like a Angel City that is playing like to their advantage and to their sake of having a good day, then I think it speaks great to the squad. And then move forward to Portland. I think Portland's kind of in the opposite direction where they play kind of like similar to the Pacific Northwest rivals, Seattle. They play very physical. They play very. They like to push in groups. They normally hover around the low block though, and try to build from the back and kind of create that slow motion. So I think it's just a well balanced like mixture of teams that will give you different attacking and defensive schemes. I think talking a little bit about Angel City, you have what is Alyssa Thompson's younger sister, which has been killing it last year, and then you partner that up with Riley Turnman, which one of, if not the best rookies of the league last year, the rookie of the year. So you see kind of players that are really hungry to compete, especially considering Angel FC did not have the best year last season. So I think those are tough enough games where you're going to be challenged. It's not like you're playing Chicago, you're not playing Utah. You're playing tough opponents, but you're playing winnable opponents. And I think that's especially a key that needs to be considered when it comes to going into Coachella, because I'm not necessarily expecting 2 wins, but I'm expecting to compete in those 2 games and have the possibility of 2 wins. If you give us Washington and you give us Orlando, or KC, I think that's a different story. And I would question being paired up against those kinds of teams. But Angel City, Portland, those are very, very malleable teams that you can like really work your way around. And I think that's really something that the Dash really need to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think I will concentrate more on the first game
Hmm.
on Angel City just because, like you said, I think Angel City, despite I think maybe just the only thing you might lose against Angel City, just because of the attraction of players. Angel City is a great location for attract players, but yet they don't. I think show on the pitch the attraction they gain because if you look at their games, home games, they're really attractive audience, they attract attendance, and players are more likely to join. But yet on the pitch, after losing Alyssa Thompson, they haven't been the same. They seem more confused on what they on their what to do, but I feel like you always feel like you struggle with them. Neither one they cancel each other out. They're mostly draws, and then they're never do anything. The one and so a win on that makes sure that you're on the right step. Okay,
Hmm.
how is this preseason? How the squad? And most importantly, if you can able to carry off what you did last season at the end of last season. Portland, though, I feel like it's very not as gonna be easy. Not as it's gonna be the hardest game and the hardest test the Dash will do, just because Portland are going through a lot of changes. Of course, the most person you see that's of course Sam Coffey leaving for Man City. I think that would be see interesting to see what they will do in the midfield. After her departure, but yet they still have a lot of good players. Olivia
Hmm.
Moultrie, it's crazy. It's her. I think I'm not mistaken. When I read this is her fifth season, sixth season in the league, and she's just 20 years old. 6 years playing professionally,
That's crazy.
and so when you see that you see that last at the end of last season she was on fire. She was on
Hmm.
fire, and so now she is developing as a dangerous player now. And now
Hmm.
she's not a kid on the block. Now she is developing as a
Hmm.
dangerous player. So that's a player you have to look out for. Of course, Sophia Wilson is back. She's back in training. She's back on the field. She's back on. So we'll see what type of Sophia Wilson the Dash will face. Of course, and you got Turner as well. So you do have a lot of weapons for the Dorans. That okay, of course, the only thing that quote quote maybe go against them. They're still very unclear in the
Hmm.
front office. Sarah Loudon, uh, who has been in Houston Dash for the longest in her career, is still over as the interim head coach. So you'll know if they're gonna stick with her or they're gonna find someone else, and how the coaching staff is gonna be. So it's really hard on that muddiness of like, will that affect the team or will that affect how they will approach it? But yet the weapons are there. And I think the only thing that is Trinity that I see maybe like okay that we'll see maybe it's the intensity of this is the first
Hmm.
women's Texas rivalry, professional rivalry.
Hmm.
So how much will that be in a factor of this game? Even though it's just a preseason game, well, more for the Dash, unlike Dallas Trinity. Dallas Trinity is in their second half of the season, though technically they should be more sharper than the Dash. So I think that would be a good test for the Dash. Okay, you have a team that's in already in season. Can you show up in their stadium and get a
Hmm.
result? You know, I think that would be a good and see if the intensity of a new rivalry,
Hmm.
state rivalry compares. But that's my thoughts on the preseason. I think it's gonna be real good. It's gonna be real interesting. You think the results should matter? Oh, I was about to say performance, but it's really hard because we haven't disclosed if we're gonna have streaming or anything of maybe. I know Coachella we did one or
Yeah.
two, but I think is the results we're gonna matter or is the performance gonna matter over these two, three preseason games?
I think it's got to be a mix of both. I think you have to expect results because you don't want to have the start of the season that you did last year. And I think part of that is being results driven, is understanding that sometimes you don't have to play the prettiest or the most attractive. Sometimes you just get a dirty goal in, or you get a deflection, or you have to put in a dirty tackle. If it wins, it wins. And I think being a little more concerned with winning right at the gate is going to really benefit this team. Obviously, they are always concerned of winning. I don't think that's a doubt. I'm not going to claim and sit and say that, oh, the Dash doesn't want to win, because that's never the case. They are hungry, they are driven. We've learned that about this team. But it's just about, orienting a little more into being results driven rather than growth driven. I think this team is plenty grown, and I think it's important to kind of like start transitioning to that, because if you want to make the playoffs, winning is necessary. Winning is something that you don't take for granted, but it is also something that like you have to do.
Yeah, I think what Fabrice has been trying to do is, and Angela as well, and do they try and bring a winning culture. I think at the preseason, it's kind of hard, as we saw in the Dynamo. We don't see how the team is playing. We just see formations and that the team is winning today. 2-1, and you're like, okay, they won 2-1. It's like, but I think for the Dash, what's more importantly right now, more than anything, it's getting results. I gain that
Mhm.
mental focus on, but also gain that mental, and I get that reassurance that what the coach is doing is working. Not it was just not a blip last season, that it was just a hot streak. No, that it's working. It's just we have to believe in it a little bit more and see how the results come turn out. I think because it's like you said, if we start off as the back foot like we did in the beginning of the season, we just dig ourselves in the hole at the beginning of the season. But I think it's real promising. We'll see how it goes and see how the team just navigates through that. But
Mhm.
if uh, just before we move on, do you think we're gonna have? I know we mentioned it before. Do you think we're gonna have another game on the 7th, March 7th, or do you think that we're just gonna have it clear just to focus on what those 3 games happen and try and make the adjustments?
No, I think it's good, important to rest and to be prepared. But at most, I think I see a Liga and Mickey's team really.
If anything.
Dash likes to do that, so I don't see them being too creative, and I don't see them needing to be too creative.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think the rest is good and essential, especially um, players that need to not to have too much of a heavy burden early in the season. I think what happened with like Avery. People were panicky that Avery was out of the U.S. women's national team. We're like, I was the camp of like, that's perfect. She needs rest.
Mhm.
She needs to focus on her because I feel like the dash uses her so much that too many games. Uh, causes muscle strands, and then she's out for like 3 games because she's just barely recovering. So I think just that, and then and see how also you gotta remember, we have a long young talent, so more games doesn't mean that it's gonna be better off in the later end of the season. So I think
Mhm.
just we'll see how it goes and see how it goes with that. But before we head out, I got something for you, Diego.
What's up? What you got? What you got?
The Dash right now are looking to be a hot commodity right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, uh, you think I think they're flying under the radar as in signings, as in
Mm-hmm.
getting young talent, getting. You think we're expecting another s- signing? If we expect another signing, you think the Dash is going to bring a big name signing before the transfer window, or you think just
No, I don't think we need a big signing. I think we have the team necessary to compete for the playoffs. If I were to be completely honest, I don't think there's a single position we're in dire need of. That was something that we needed last year. Um, I think our big names are going to be Lisa Boetti, are going to be Avery Patterson, are going to be um, Clarissa Literacy, or whoever you put up in the nine. I think a lot of these players that we have are primed to have great seasons, really. And I think talking about a big signing is great. I would love a Sam Kerr or an Alyssa Thompson from Chelsea or whatever you want to talk about. But what I would love to see a little bit more is to see the players that we have like really blossom into that star role. That might mean they get to leave in the offseason for European teams or for other NWSL clubs, but that would be a little magical to see this run. That Fabrice in his second year competes for an NWSL like title. That's pretty sick, and that I feel like that only happens when the players that you currently have step up. I
mm,
mean, for those who know me, again, I live in New York. I've been a New York Knicks fan ever since I was 10 years old. It's not Jalen Brunson when he was nobody. When he was playing great in Dallas, but come on, he wasn't the star. And look what he's doing now. Why can't
Yeah,
that be Maggie Graham? Avery Patterson literally has displayed it over the past 2 years. Why can't that be K Fasse? Why can't that be Cat Radar? Why can't that be Leia Clinky? I don't think there's anything necessarily stopping. And I think that's what's so promising about the stash team. The
mm,
ceiling is off the charts. Obviously, the floor is very low in the ground because there's a chance
yeah.
all of these players aren't built to NWSL standards just yet. Might as well try, man. Might as well. There's a vision there, and that's already exciting enough for me. I think looking at this team, this project, the coach, Angela, everyone involved, there's vision, there's an idea there, there's a blueprint laid out, and I think that's the most exciting thing. And I don't think a star is necessarily like going to allure me into thinking like that's what we need, because I don't really think we do. I don't think we need that at like legitimately. I think it's a great idea. I think picking up an elite level player is always like on the cards, but I don't think we need that to compete. No, I don't think we do.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's just with I think what it come back to it's the new HIP rule, the high impact player. One team is allowed to sign a high impact player. It's the only thing that has come and play with it, of course, is with Trinity Rodman, and so I'm trying to see if, not saying that the Dash needs one, but I think since that rule's been, you know, in effect, okay, how will will the Dash try to do and see, okay, if you know if they are in talks with it, because at the moment they're in compliance. They have 20
Mhm.
they have 26 roster, that which is the limit, and that is due on March 11th. So basically, they have the deadline of March 11th to make their roster deadline. So they have a 32 roster that of preseason roster, and to bring it down to 26. So they're already in that bubble already. So, but of course, the transfer window does not go in until the 16th. So they'll have about a good month and a half if needed to find someone
Mhm.
else. But it's really interesting. It's really see how it should go. But I think that's pretty much it. I think that's I think just to see. I just want to bring it out there because it's the Dash are in their means to bring in a high impacted player, but will they do it? Who they will let go? I think it's there's still I think a lot of room that could be happening with that, but it just you can't just not start thinking about what ways to improve the squad. But it is what it is. We still have uh, a week to go for the first preseason game. I know Diego will be live at Coachella for it.
Absolutely not. I checked the flights.
How
No.
much? How much is the flights? Come on,
Honestly, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I was being dramatic. The flights were only $150 round trip
that's doable.
from New York.
Yeah, that's doable
The
from
thing
New York.
is, your boy has spent a lot of money lately, and he does not have the funds to do it.
Your boy's
Your boy.
rich.
No.
Your boy rich. He working too much for the NCAA. That's why
Your boy is getting paid students.
he's just paying for his intuition.
Yeah.
But nah, but yeah, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Hopefully next week they will hopefully send out more ways that we can watch the game. Hopefully, I know
Hmm.
each game is like early. I know the Saturday game is like 12. I'm not mistaken.
12:30.
12:30, and the Saturday game I think is at 8. in the morning?
Let's check. I
I think it's
actually have it literally. I have it right here. Um,
I know that second Saturday is like super early.
no, the first one is 1 p.m.
Pacific time, right?
No, Central Time.
Okay.
Second one is 12:30.
Okay. That was much earlier. Yeah. But
No,
no, yeah.
we're
But
chilling.
like there's just early though. There's early though for a regular game, but yeah. So and I know the one in Dallas is at 7 because it's yeah. But that's it. That's it. So that's all. Hopefully next week, we get you more of that, and most likely the way how the dash is going, more transfer news. I feel like there's always gonna be more transfer news with the dash. You know, we're like I'd say we're still at the roster limit, but I feel like the dash is always cooking on something. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong. We'll see if we get a high impacted player or not. I highly doubt it, but you never know at this point. Thank you for all for tuning in for another edition of Orange and Blueprints. Here at Bayou City Soccer, we want to thank you all for joining in. We'd like to thank our sponsors as well as Ugly Guppy, Lotus Bravos, and We Got Soccer as well. Please always look out for us at BayouCitySoccer.net. Also on our socials at Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Threads, Blue Skies. I don't think anything else. I think that's the only thing
No,
we have.
you nailed it. What about our
Uh,
sponsors?
nah, I already did that, bro.
Oh, okay.
You fell asleep, bro. You fell asleep, bro. I just
Bro,
said that like a minute
stop,
ago.
stop, stop. Stop. But you did miss one thing. For everybody watching, happy National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. Each and every person that I have been a part of throughout my time covering the Houston Dash, um, or here at Fordham with the women's soccer team, and even in my own creative department, which, fun fact, is 80% women. Amazing. I am surrounded by strong and powerful women all throughout my day, every single day, and none of this would be possible without them inspiring us to cover them, whether it be the dash, whether it be the teams in the NCAA that I work with. But it's a personal responsibility for me to like say just thank you to the women in sports, whether it be the athletes and people outside of sports. We have our very own Madeline at BCS. Very thankful of her bringing her energy and her passion into every single day. Um,
Damn,
but yeah,
she's ranting right now on the
just
Discord.
a last minute thank you to everybody that is a part of the beautiful game. And yeah, I'm trying to be sincere without sounding overly corporate because I promise I don't have this written down or anything. But a serious thank you to everybody and a serious thank you to women in sports.
Yeah, I know. I think it's. I think sometimes when we look at sports and you see it just how much the women's has been part of it, and more you see them as I think now visually, as sports analysts, sports commentators, but they've done a lot of the backbone behind the camera, behind the scenes, and now they have really if no matter if you like the men's side or the women's side, they have been a backbone for both departments, and then you now have that recognition and everything. So it's really nice to see that as well. So, well, thank you all. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So hopefully next week, Diego can buy that flight, and we'll see how that goes.
Praying
And
on it,
that's it.
but I will see you later.
Bye.